Hey, sports fans! Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show coming at you, as always, on a Monday midday on the West Coast. And as always, joined by Andrew Combo Sal to discuss the latest and the greatest in the NBA. Combo, what's happening, man?
All is well. Had a great weekend. They've been calling me snarky in the B-Ball Breakdown comments. Do you think I'm snarky, Coach Nick? What do you think?
No, I wouldn't say snarky would be the first word I'm thinking of to describe you. So don't worry. Don't worry.
No. I'm not worried. I just thought it was funny. It was humorous.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Generally the comments and the people there on our show are nice people who don't want to throw casual insults around. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. I mean, on the internet, you should say how you feel. If they feel I'm snarky, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
That's right. What's up, everybody in the chat? It's good to see you out there. We got Nicholas out there. We got us Knicks need to stick together. Martin Jose, always great to see you. Shahid, what's going on, guys? We're looking forward to this good show. And I think we can kick it off a little bit with some fireworks we had last night with an absolutely hilarious play of events where we had the Warriors hooking up against the Wolves for a rematch. It's kind of rare that you'll see like a home and home, or not, is it home and home or whatever they call it when you play at the same place twice in a row within a day of each other. So the Warriors and the Wolves matched up again, and the Warriors got the better of the Wolves after losing the first game. But it came down to, sort of the pivotal possession. I want to say it was like a 4-point lead or whatever it was. And Draymond comes down, and they run a play they run very often, which is simply Steph Curry coming up and setting a ball screen. Rudy got stuck. The help was not there, and Draymond dunked it and then gave everybody the night-night, which I think he was been waiting to do for a very long time. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Kuminga had some nice rolls to the basket, and it's interesting that they've been featuring Kuminga more lately. My gist of it, not to have a hot take right off the bat, is they want to feature him so they can make a win-now trade.
Interesting. I mean, I suppose, making a trade is still the thing on their minds because they still have a deep, deep bench and they have a hard time finding minutes for everybody. Because on any given night, you're going to see like Brandon Pajemski, like will be a guy who's going to play, 10 minutes, and he's a guy who starts and then he doesn't play. So it's harder on the players too. Right. The problem, though, is in my mind, then is that you got to trade two players for one, right?
Why?
Because they have so many guys. If they bring one for one, then they still have a kind of a glut of bad things necessarily, but you'd almost think they want to kind of cut down the rotation a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a package around Moody and Kuminga most likely, because if you don't give that up, you're not going to get much back.
That's true. And so Kuminga's been a little bit better recently, which is good. And I think they're trying to sort of experiment with lineups to figure out, like, should he just be starting? Should they go small? Wiggins didn't play, so they went small last night in a way that it seemed to unlock some things. And you had GP out there to defend, and they wanted him on Anthony Edwards, which was okay. I mean, Edwards, I saw, when he goes on runs, I don't know if there's too many guards better than that, right? He just goes on a run for himself and he hits, 12 straight points. It's crazy.
So do you think, not to stay on the point, that, now Draymond's not starting, right? And Kuminga is in. So how does that change things? Because Kuminga is the younger, more athletic player, but he's not really a read and react type player that the Warriors like to start with, and just run things through. I mean, everybody, knows his potential, but he doesn't fit the Warrior style of play. So do you think the Warriors have to change some things now that he's in the starting lineup?
No, I mean, I don't think you're going to get any improvement on that, in the middle of the season anyway, because like you said, it's a the modern game requires you to read the defense before you catch the ball. And so,
but even more so with the Warriors, like, they don't play a heliocentric type basketball, like maybe like the Mavericks or a Harden team.
Yeah, I agree. And they have like automatics that require, the ability to, read and react to what's going on. And in very quick moment, it's actually probably more about like screening and then cutting, because he will do those things out of context and get in the way and run into people and throw the ball away still, and things that like shouldn't be done by a guy, his third, fourth year in the league. And so I can see why the Warriors are frustrated, because they have a guy who's, athletically has all the tools and can overwhelm his opponents. I would think probably better off the bench. However, obviously, when you're playing alongside Steph, he can make anybody look really even better than they are for sure. So
True.
I think that the Draymond Green not starting thing is temporary at best. I can't believe they're going to go much longer without it starting in the lineup, right? Like, can you see this as a rest of the season thing?
I mean, Steph Curry said, I think it's that time. I think it's time.
Steph Curry said he thinks it's time that Draymond come off the bench.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see.
I think it was more that he felt like Kuminga should be starting than Draymond off the bench.
Right. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then you can start him over Wiggins if you want to. When Wiggins comes back from the ankle. So
you're saying start them together, Kuminga and Draymond?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that as well. I mean, it's hard to believe that they're going to take, their best defender out of the starting lineup, right?
Yeah, and the guy who has such great synergy with Steph Curry, who just maximizes what Steph Curry does.
Right. And then actually, is that right? He started yesterday. I didn't see the very beginning of the game. Let me check my stats here. So, case in point, like it didn't last that long. I mean, I know they're banged up a little bit, but it's not going to be a thing. Like the Green New Deal will not last very long. Much like it didn't last very long, I think, in our political system as well. But so it was paid. Yeah, but GP started, which is interesting. Then Buddy also started. I've always advocated for Buddy starting. Again, the people that get to play alongside Steph the most are going to end up looking the best, right?
When he's knocking down shots, his shot looks so pure, like that one in transition down the stretch. I mean, man, he has a nice looking jump shot, Buddy Hield. I mean, he's an elite shooter when he's shooting great. I know he went through somewhat of a slump recently, but he's been filling in well overall for what they've been missing with Klay Thompson.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and listen, like I'd pay Buddy to let me have him teach me how to shoot. I would like to watch him and unlock even more of like the little details that he's doing because, it's a beautiful jump shot. The rhythm is beautiful. Hyper. Yeah. He had a left corner one down the stretch that was really important on the break. That was a lot like that Klay Thompson dagger. And they need that. And so last night he went 10 for 18 from the field, which is, scored 16 for 13.
Which is great. You want him shooting that many shots. I think that's good.
Yeah. Now, in turn, Anthony Edwards went 5 for 9 from 3, and the Timberwolves hit 19 of them, where the Warriors only hit 16. And so that's going to be an anomaly when you see a team that hits 3 more threes than the other team and loses. So it was interesting back and forth game. And I think that, it's probably also in the context of it's hard to beat a team twice in a row when you play them back to back like that.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of Monday morning quarterbacking, but I do feel like the Warriors' offense just flowed a lot better than Minnesota's offense, even though Minnesota hit 3 more threes. It's just What'd you say?
That's interesting as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels clunky sometimes. And then Ann had some tough turnovers at the end. And it's not really all on Ann. It's just the way they play offense. It feels like it's the system or lack of a system.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the same problem with Rudy out there who ended up going 1 for 3. And he's just, I think I saw one of those, but he just, the fumbling of the ball and the inability to catch it clean and then make plays is going to be a problem for them. I know they've kind of righted the ship a little bit, but again, we don't have to get into Rudy. We talked enough about him anyway, but, right. But at any rate, the Warriors to figure this out. So I think the trade would end up being if they're looking for a player, it's got to be a big guy, right?
I'm hearing Ingram buzz.
I mean,
another guy who's not a read and react player, more of a heliocentric type player.
Yeah, interesting. So, and interesting to note is Trace Jackson Davis didn't play at all, as they went really small and did not really have bigs out there.
Maybe that's why it flowed so well.
Yeah, guys you can't do that against Denver, can you?
I mean, Jokic is going to get 40 anyway. Who knows, man?
I guess. I mean, I guess you could try and throw Draymond out there, but I don't know. I'm not.
Who's the best defender against Jokic on the Warriors? Primary defender, you think?
It's probably Looney
or Draymond, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but if you're looking at the roster and you're looking at what you want to upgrade, because obviously if you're talking about trade, that's what you want to do, then you have to be looking at a big guy. I can't. You have to be looking at. We talked about this before. I think a guy like Ayton or Capella.
How about you know who a lot of teams should be looking to acquire, and I don't hear enough buzz on it, and I think the Knicks should acquire this guy, Robert Williams.
Okay, I mean it's a risk.
I mean, he's averaging close to 2 blocks right now. He's playing.
Okay.
I mean, Mitch hasn't even been playing the whole year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if he stay healthy, he's been great. But maybe that makes him expendable for it makes Ayton expendable then.
Yeah, I mean, fits Tibbs' identity as a coach really well. Robert Williams.
Yeah. Oh wait. So now we just switched to getting him to New York instead of
well, I just mentioned that I think he'd be a great fit for the Knicks, but other teams could definitely use him as well. I think.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's the big men who are injury prone make me nervous. The only problem with the Warriors, though, if you had to describe an ideal player they're looking for, it would have to be like a center who could shoot. But there aren't any of those that are available. There aren't the Horfords out there that they would need, right?
Wow. Mirotic is overseas right now. Oh, Vucevic is shooting the 3 at a higher level than ever right now.
It's interesting because he actually would do nicely in their offense, but
he could post, he could pass, he could shoot the 3. Yeah, I mean, he could play a little read and react. Maybe not. He's not Draymond, but he could pass the ball.
He could do some. He certainly would be their most offensive minded or ability wise.
They're looking to blow it. I mean, nobody's untradeable on that team, from what I'm hearing. The Bulls, they're going to trade somebody. Yeah.
I mean, without question, they would part with Vucevic if they had a chance. But we have our first super chat. So don't forget, if you want us to answer your question, the best way to do that would be through the super chat on the YouTube side. It would really help us get the lights going. I really appreciate it. So let's get to Alan Tran, best friend of the breakdown. Thank you so much, Alan. Always great to see you. And he says, I wouldn't mind committing to Detroit for Jalen Duren. So that's interesting. I mean, like, Duren is, he's not, could he end up being like a center for them? Would he play center for them?
Yeah, he could play center in the NBA. Okay. I mean, he's not going to shoot like how you wanted him to, but I do feel like Kuminga's upside is still a lot higher than Jalen, but maybe Jalen's fit could be better at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he's exactly what they need either. And again, they might say that they have enough shooting all the way around, so they could, handle that. But again, it's when you have a starting lineup. If you want to do Draymond Green, and let's say they bring in a center that could start for them, that doesn't stretch the floor either. They've seen that movie quite often in the past. So right. It would be nice. But again, I'm trying to picture anybody else in the comments. Name somebody besides Vucevic that is out there that's a center that could shoot. There's got to be more that could be gotten.
Turner
would be awesome. Yes, but
right. I totally agree. Like Turner was the first person to come to my head actually, but I'm like, that's unrealistic in my head as well.
Unfortunately, but they probably could have gotten him a couple of years ago before they went on this little bit of a run and stuff, right?
And also he has another point. I mean, Schroeder and Vucevic that would make them dangerous.
Who?
Schroeder and Vucevic to the Warriors. He's right. That would
Schroeder. But they don't need Schroeder, do they?
Sure.
They have plenty of guards.
Who's a backup guy who could game manage like Schroeder?
I mean, I hear you.
Gary Payton is more like he's some kind of like Bruce Brown type player, like kind of more like small ball 4. I'm trying to do they have any other?
Oh, that BP.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Schroeder's better than him right now, clearly, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and Podziemski is struggling mightily from 3, and it's not affecting everything, which is really too bad. So, and to the point now where he goes from again starting to not playing much. It's rough. Let's see. BP played 20 minutes last night.
Yeah, I mean, who do you trust in the playoffs, Pods or Schroeder more? Like Schroeder.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I think that Schroeder might have some baggage, but yeah, he's playing well. And probably would be the guy that somebody could pry away from and from the Nets.
Alan got another super chat for us. So
he does?
Yeah.
There it is. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Alan. Really appreciate it.
Alan.
Kuminga, Pods, Slow-Mo, and Melton. Well, Melton, he's hurt. I don't think he's going to be able to be part of anything. But to Brooklyn for Cam Thomas and Nick Claxton works contractually. I'm more willing to pay Cam than Kuminga. I mean, Cam Thomas, you throw him in the middle of the Warriors stuff. I don't see how that would work real well.
He doesn't strike me as a Warriors guy.
Yeah, so I just don't think they were going to do it. From a lot of reasons. Listen, Cam Thomas can score. Probably, obviously, he can score better than Kuminga. And Kuminga, like isn't the guy who's fitting in that well either. So you could kind of argue that. But Nick Claxton, now you're onto something, Alan. Like that's the guy. I mean, again, he's not a shooter, but like the Claxton Capella thing is something they could use and probably could be had.
I mean, also the thing is Kuminga's a better defender than Cam Thomas, so you're losing some defense too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I wouldn't want to be Mike Dunleavy right now having to try and figure this out. It's a puzzle and a conundrum.
What do you think? Like, if you had to guess what happens, they're not. Well, first of all, do you think there's a higher chance they stay put, or a higher chance that they'll make a significant move? Not even a move around the edges, like something that'll hit the timelines and people will be interested in.
I have no inside information at this moment.
No. I know you have no inside information, but just what you think.
But part of me, just for my instinct, sort of says like it's probably 55% that they're not going to do a big blockbuster trade.
Okay.
60% maybe, something like that.
Okay. But it's fun to talk about on live shows either way.
Yeah, the contracts and making those things match. It's not easy. It's really hard. You got to bring in a third team sometimes. I just don't know how reasonable it is. And I'm also trying to think of like we haven't had a lot of them in recent years, unless I'm totally forgetting.
Wait, what? We haven't had what?
Blockbuster mid-season trades.
Oh, mid-season. A lot of off-season. Oh, wait. Was Durant mid-season? No, that was off-season.
To the Warriors or?
No, to the Suns. That was off-season.
Oh, yeah. And wasn't that a free agent signing, I think? Or was it a trade? It was a trade. Yeah, never mind. Because they. Yeah.
We're missing something. I think there was something
big mid-season trade over the last 3 years. Someone will come up in the comments, but and then again, would Kuminga and Moody for somebody, whatever, that wouldn't be a big deal either, anyway, right? It's but it kind of just feels like the way this is going, like we had one of the worst off seasons this past year because people just want to make trades. They didn't want to make deals. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I guess people are pointing to the Dallas midseason trade, which they weren't star players, but man, that was huge impact for sure.
Yeah, and I got to do a video on them because it's starting to kind of percolate again, and it looks like they are going to be.
I mean, they're good without Luka. They're good with Luka. Like it's just good.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. I was talking about how Steph set the ball screen for Draymond, who dunked it and then did the night. I'm doing a video right now on like point guard setting ball screens and what that does.
I stand corrected. I was originally correct that KD was midseason, but it was after he was injured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's move on to our next super chat here. Bron, again, thank you so much, Bron. You're back. Why do you think some teams are allowed to be more physical than others? And did you see the video of Brown picking up Dame full court? Yes. Well, do you want to jump on this one first?
I think some of the refs are just inconsistent with other refs. That's how I feel about it. I just think all the different refs call the game differently, and it's more like that than ever before.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably part of it. I mean, it's just a natural part of it because refs call things differently anyway. That's what we know. I also think it's reputation, right? I think certain.
I mean, that's always that was always like even with Jordan, right? Like people used to play, he got all the calls.
Well, you're talking about when Jordan was on offense or when he was on defense?
When he was on offense, they used to say he used to go to the line a lot.
Right. I disproved that. I think maybe I'll have to do a video on that. I mean,
okay, narrative, whether it's true or not, that's what people thought, right?
Yes, but that said, well, here's what's interesting is once you get, because we're talking about defense right now, right? That's what I want to focus on. You get the reputation of being a really good defender, and then you get the benefit of the doubt, right? Either it's because of that or you're a superstar, right? Superstars also don't often get called. A lot of guys can be provocative with their defense and not get a call. But the defensive people, how do you get the reputation? You don't just have it as a rookie, right? So somehow you have to get the reputation, and then the referees give you that benefit. And I'm always sort of fascinated how you get to that point because most rookies get a terrible whistle, right? And they get calls that they don't deserve and they shouldn't, but it's always at the rookies. So, and I don't think anyone's going to say that's a hot take. So you have this interesting notion of like at some point something happens where the guy maybe gets enough stops in a row, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Hey, this guy's a defender." How do you think that happens?
I think for players in general that if they set the tone as aggressive defenders, it's hard to call every foul on them. So I think a lot of it is setting the tone. Like if you're picking up somebody full court, roughing them up a little bit, no ref will foul them out in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, part of me also thinks that you have to be good. You really have to be meticulous with your footwork and really be above and beyond defensively you play that real defense that we're always looking for. And then at some point, yeah, after enough of that time, half a season or a season, whatever, like, is it who's the guy? Is it Dyson Daniels who's just stealing it for the ball from everybody right now on the Hawks?
Yeah,
And like
Daniels.
he's got right. He's
Davion Mitchell's really good too with the Raptors.
Right. Now Davion Mitchell might have been the guy who came in right from the get-go with that reputation and maybe might have gotten a little bit of although I do see him get calls even now. I don't know if he's quite gotten, even though I think he deserves it. He's really good. You're right. I don't know. Do you feel like he's gotten that sort of pass from the referees sometimes because he's a good defender?
Yeah, I think so. Also, he's just so aggressive, and the way he fights over ball screens is so skillful. One of the best in the league at that. So I think he does a great job, and I think the refs. I don't think they call everything on him.
Right. Okay. I feel like I've seen a few of the games recently, and I'm like, oh, like that. Somebody else would not have gotten that call, but we'll see how that plays out too, because it might just be a matter of time for him. So it's interesting because then you start seeing even Draymond's a guy who gets a lot of leeway, both physicality wise, yelling at the refs wise, and that's another one of those things where it's sometimes hard to really kind of picture how that happened, other than the sheer volume of these infractions that have to be ignored, or else every play you'd be blowing the whistle. I suppose that's one way to do it. I used to think that Steph did that too. Steph would reach in and kind of hack as much as possible and dare the guys to call it, and they wouldn't. So
he's like, I'm Steph Curry. I dare you.
Yeah,
you need me in the game.
Yeah, that's what it felt like a lot. I mean, he was provocative, man. He'd be reaching all in there, causing havoc, getting steals sometimes. But other guys couldn't do that. I don't think.
You need to use every advantage you have. So I'm not mad at Steph for that. He knows he needs to be in the game.
So anyway, I hope we answered that question, Bron, for you. It's one of those things, but it's a lot.
And I didn't see the video, so tell me more about this video, Coach Nick.
Which video?
Of Brown picking up Dame full court.
Oh, it was just very, very physical, and Brown was cutting him off, showing him his chest. Okay, but by the way, so that one was great because if you're in legal guarding position, which means you're square to the player in his path, then you're not responsible for the contact, or you're not going to be called for a foul for that contact. And that's basically what Jalen was doing. Now, I know he reached in maybe at 1.2. That either it was that one or maybe in one after that. I was watching where Dame was bringing it up, and he fell down. He barely could keep the ball in his grasp, and he wanted the foul. They didn't call it. Maybe that might have been the same one or another one. Again, part of it is reputation. Jaylen Brown's got that rep as being a great defender, so he'll get leeway where they'll kind of be like, he's
a champion. Do you think the Bucks deserve a video? They've been better.
Maybe I did at least one or two on them, so I have to. I'll get back around to them, but they've been better. But when I think I screenshotted their record or their schedule after this 9-game stretch, they were so good, and they didn't play anybody hardly that was any good. So
I do think the synergy between Giannis and Dame has been better.
You do? Mm-hmm. What does that mean exactly?
They're playing off each other better, and both of them are playing at a high level at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, and Giannis has been shooting the mid-range out of his world, which is going to open up a lot of things. You might not remember. I can remember a time.
He literally got better. He got better this season, and I feel that so we never give player a credit that they got better when their team is not playing well, but when they were losing, man, he was still incredible this year.
Yeah, no, he's doing everything he needs to do in his role. It was just rough because everyone else around the margins was not.
Passing the ball better too. He's been passing it better, I feel.
Okay. Okay. Let me just see what the standings are right now. So the Bucks they were 8-2 in their last 10, and they've gotten up to 6th place in the Eastern Conference. Again, let's just really quickly go over the schedule here, because I want to make that point I made earlier more specific. So if you look at the schedule, let's say we'll call it the last 10 games when they won 8-2, or even just like that with the winning streak they went on. They beat the Rockets. Okay, that's not a bad win at home. It's a solid win by 1. They beat the Bulls, which is not interesting. Pacers are not playing that well. Hornets are not playing that well. The Heat are not playing that well. The Wizards were in the middle of their ridiculously long losing streak at the time. The Pistons not playing that well. The Hawks.
They just beat the Knicks.
They beat the Knicks. They did. So their Pistons are better, right? But they're not like world beaters. The Hawks aren't either.
Cade is really good.
Yeah. I mean, he's been really good, right? We've been trying to tell everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So then they lost to the Hawks, lost to Celtics, and then they beat the Nets. So it's like they're not really, the beauty of the NBA season is that no matter how bad it's going, there's going to be a 3-game, 4-game stretch against teams that that are not great that you're going to be able to take advantage.
Can the Warriors get Cade?
I mean, yeah, they probably could, but no, because Detroit
He's like
up. But what does Cade do for them that they don't,
He's like those. He's kind of like the heliocentric type player that I was talking about, but he makes quicker reads.
Yeah,
doesn't hold it as long. Could play on the ball. Could play off the ball. I mean, he's excellent, and he plays defense.
Secondary creator behind Steph, and then
and a secondary creator behind Steph is more of a primary creator because Steph is off the ball so much.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that could be nice. I don't know if that's the key for the Warriors, though. To me, they need a big guy. They need and I like Trace Jackson-Davis. It's unclear why he got a DNP, but if they could find a guy that could really have an impact from that 5 position, it would open up everything for them. I think that's the key.
Didn't they try with DeMarcus Cousins a few years ago?
Gosh, that sounds familiar. Did he play at the Warriors? Yeah, I think so, for like half the year, whatever in between. Yeah, that was rough.
I could see why they would do it though, because he's like a skilled big man.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Darcy. Thank you so much, Darcy. I think that stronger players get physically. I think the stronger players get physical, the less they have to exert to be physical, and the less obvious it is that it is a foul. Okay, so I think that maybe he's saying that the stronger players are permitted to be physical because it doesn't seem like, because they're so strong that it doesn't look like a foul. It's less obvious that it's a foul. That's interesting. What do you think about that? Do you think that the bigger, stronger guys end up getting, leeway from the refs?
Not necessarily. I mean, Shaq had big issues, right? Because nobody even knew when they were fouling him. And I'm sure that went both ways. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, the guys like Isaiah Stewart, does he get a good whistle? I don't necessarily think he gets maybe. So I don't know if that's really.
I guess he's saying it's that's not a foul. That's a weight room issue.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know if that ends up being the issue. I do feel like there's got to be the moment where you got to, in your rookie year, second year, whatever, as you get your chance, you need to be able to show the textbook defense. And then you get that rep, and then the referees, then you are able to be more physical. I think that's the trajectory for the most part, as I'm thinking about all these guys. And because I'm sympathetic to the players who get called for stuff where I'm like, I know that Draymond would not have gotten called for that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And on the flip side, you'll see a couple plays last night where they go to the hole. Draymond gets a block or pressures the shot, it misses. But you're like, that looked like a lot of contact. I don't know exactly why. That they didn't blow it because they didn't want to deal with Draymond yelling at them, which, would be terrible. But, if that's what Draymond needs to do to get an advantage, I suppose, like you said, that's what he does. And maybe that helps because certainly, I don't think we'd be saying a hot take that the refs don't want to deal with Draymond's, screaming and yelling at him, right?
I don't know who wants to deal with Draymond, man.
Yeah,
but, he's a good podcaster, so shouts to him.
Yeah, that's right. Respect the hustle. Well, what else?
You ever hear that? All those stats about how podcast P has been podcasting more than playing. They've been really getting on him for that. Like he did this many episodes and played this many minutes.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, but listen, when you examine the day-to-day schedule of an NBA player.
Yeah, they got a lot of free time.
A lot of time. It's like, okay, and you can't play, especially if you're nicked up or you're injured, you can't be on the court either. So it's like, you might as well fill the time up, do some good content.
Yeah. No, I know you have to go soon, but I think NBA Cup, maybe we do something after a game. Maybe figure it out. And then
which reminds me, I do want to shout out. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be going on Dom 2K. If you know him over on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm hopping in his playback to watch the game.
Okay.
So if you're out there, I'm sorry, which game? OKC and it's a big game, Dallas. Right?
Okay.
Mavericks and OKC. It should be a good game. It's a cup game. So we're going to be watching that together. So make sure.
What time is that?
What's that?
What time is that?
That's at 6:30 my time, 9:30 your time.
Tomorrow or tonight?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So if you're out there, go on the playback. Let me make sure. Yeah, 6:30 Pacific. Find Dom 2K's playback, or follow me on Twitter on Blue Sky, and I'll be tweeting out the links there too. And listen, Combo, if you're around, maybe you can hop in.
Yeah, let's try and make it happen.
Okay. So we'd love to have as many people as we can. It's a great time. We watched the game. Last time I did it last week with them, we had a great time. It was really hilarious, and we did talk about the game a lot, but we just talked about basketball while we were watching. So good watch party to be had by all. And I think my only problem is now I got to go run and show somebody how to run my my chase defense.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, another Zoom in there. If you're a coach out there and you're interested and you want to learn how to run the chase defense, which is where you play a zone where you're behind the ball, pressuring, then email me right now at coachnick@bballbreakdown.com and I can get you the link to the Zoom and you can join us in a couple minutes. But anything else we got to talk about real quick before we go?
No, I think we're all good. Who do you think wins the NBA Cup? I'm going with the Knicks.
Oh, geez. I need to look at the thing real quick. NBA Cup, what's it called? Bracket. Let me see if there's a bracket. I can look at it real quick.
I mean, the Thunder and the Rockets are in there, so they're going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, this is correct. It looks like it's correct. So we have the Thunder, Mavericks tomorrow. We have the Rockets, Warriors. We have the Knicks, Hawks, and we have the Bucks and Magic. That should be really good. The Magic have been playing really well, even though they didn't have.
Franz is out too.
Oh, Franz is out. What happened to Franz?
I think abdominal, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so that's good for the Bucks. They'll advance. I'll go with the Knicks over the Hawks. So that's the semifinal. So I got Bucks, Knicks, and I got OKC and Mavericks. It's great. A great matchup. I might go with Dallas, man. I don't know. I'm gonna go crazy, and I'll pick the Warriors over the Rockets. So who's gonna win the whole thing at that point? Wow.
I mean, you got Knicks over Bucks, right?
That's what I'm gonna have to ask you. Who do you have?
Yeah, I have Knicks over Bucks. Yep.
Yeah, I mean the OG can guard Giannis or whatever. Okay, so I can see that, I suppose. So I'll go Knicks over Bucks to get to the finals. And if I have Dallas and the Warriors, wow, that's an interesting one too. I might go, you know what? F it. The Warriors are going to win the whole thing. They're going to get hot and they're going to win it all.
All right, I say the Knicks will win the NBA Cup, so we'll see.
All right, cool, great stuff. Oh, we have another super chat real quick. From Pookie. Thank you so much, Pookie. Really, really appreciate it. Great show. And what are your thoughts on Atlanta? It seems like they have a log jam of really good wing players. Yeah, it's like kind of like the Warriors. I like Atlanta. I mean, Trae Young, by the way, Lakers fans out here keep thinking that the Lakers are going to trade for Trae Young, just so you know. It's like everyone's texting that.
Is it? Oh, it's bubbling right now?
I mean, amongst the fans. There's just no real, I suppose they could do a deal and they have to trade Connect and Reeves and, somebody like, it would be a lot. And I don't know if it would end up helping as much.
You think the Lakers are ready to make a win now move, or they just want to keep on their young players? And
no, I think with LeBron, they want to win and they got to figure it out. So they might be the one team that's going to make some big deal.
There's some Laker fans who will think they're leveraging too much of their future, right? Or they don't care.
Yeah. Well, to me, it'd be leveraging their present too, because they're going to have to give up enough players that would make them better with Trae Young too. So that's tough. They'd be so top heavy that they might not still be able to benefit with that, especially because of where LeBron is in his career, AD in his career. They're not in their prime. So that's the problem. So that's interesting. But Atlanta is fun. They really are fun. And obviously Trae Young makes them really, really fun and really difficult. I just watched one of their games down the stretch, and it was really, they were Trae Young hits the three. It was at the Lakers. That's what I was watching, right? The Lakers completely melted down on Friday, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And but credit to the Hawks, they stayed together with it and they executed really, really well. But it's mind-boggling to me that they'd run a pick and roll and go with DeAndre Hunter, two defenders there, and leave Trae Young to pop for the three. So, that's
Jalen Johnson's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good
Johnson's really good. Dyson Daniels is really good.
Yeah.
Trae Young.
It's
DeAndre Hunter. Always thought he's a really good player.
Yeah. 3-and-D, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing about them is they beat the Bucks, they beat the Celtics, and they have a lot of bad losses as well. So they're just like a very weird team.
Yeah, it's up and down. So they'll have their work cut out for them over now with Quinn to figure out how to solve that. Here's another one from Pookie. Thank you so much, Pookie. Wow. Particularly Dyson Daniels. Some are calling him the best wing defender in the NBA. Sorry for the late super chat. No, we appreciate it. Thank you. Although I have to run now. But yeah, Dyson Daniels deserves a video. I have it on the list. I'm ready to do it, so I will take care of that. So stay tuned for all of that. I got a lot of good lists of videos. I feel really good about it. And in fact, all season long, it's been terrific. So thank you guys for being there to watch these videos. It's a lot better than it was last year, which is really encouraging to me. So thank you so much. And guess what, Andrew? It's not a live show without Andrew Zhu jumping in here with a super chat. Thank you so much to get in here. Who gets the final play-in spot, the Lakers or the Kings?
Lakers.
The Kings have not been playing well.
Lakers will find a way to get in.
Let me just see the standings real quick. So where are we? Lakers are 8th, and the Kings are 12th. But they're kind of close together. So I don't know. The Kings are playing below where they should be. So I would argue that they're going to figure it out at some point and kind of get back to what they did last year or closer, right?
The Kings?
So, what's that?
The Kings, you're saying?
Yeah. The Kings had
I mean, look, I know we're at a point of the season that the Lakers are really bad, but I still think their ceiling is higher than the Kings, and they'll get it together at some point.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Well, the Kings won 46 games last year, and I think they'll be able to kind of get back closer to that. And the only question now is if the Lakers don't do a trade, can they make that happen and improve their play? I don't know. I think that this is what we have. The Lakers are who they are, and 500-ish. So it's possible. It's possible that the Kings could get him, but I probably end up going to the Lakers now. They have the lead and stuff, but
it would be
Kings are going to run at some point.
It would be nice to see Trae leave right now. Actually, at least it's on like somewhat of a high point, right? It's like things are pretty cool. Leave on a good note and go somewhere where you could try and win a championship. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess. How many firsts is he worth?
For the Lakers, how many do they have?
I mean, I don't even know because they've been probably giving up a bunch. But looking at the previous deals we've seen for other players, it's like Trae Young.
I mean, he's better than he's better than Mikal Bridges.
Okay, so
Mikal Bridges got what do you get, like 2 or 3 firsts and 2 seconds or something?
Right. So is it like 4 firsts or is it like 3 firsts and 2 starters? Like it's it's tough.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely like one. Every situation is different, but in the market, it feels like it'd be 1 more first or 2 more firsts than Mikal.
Right. All right. Well, listen, I got to run now. I'm way late, but thanks so much everyone for being here. Thank you, Combo, as always. Sorry for the short one, but we will be back again on Monday, if not earlier than that. So join us then, and make sure to check out Playback tomorrow night when we go watch the game. It's a watch party. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Combo?